Sure, you can always shop around for flooring, but in the end, it all leads back to the one place you probably should have started, the experts at Carpet One. Save yourself the time and the hassle and let Carpet One help you find the right product at the right price, beautifully installed, guaranteed. Come see the One, Carpet One, on the Business Loop in Columbia.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, March the 25th. Good to have you with us today, and glad to have my friend with us, John Wright. Good to have you here, John.
Paul, great to be here.
Former representative from Missouri, and really an intelligent, level-headed guy.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do my best. Thank you.
Today you want to talk about education. I know education is an important topic for you.
It is. I spent a fair amount of my time in the state legislature on education policy, so much so that one of my colleagues once asked me if I felt like a little bit like a one-trick pony. Mm-hmm. And I thought about it and I said, well, yes, but it's an awfully good trick.
Yeah.
Because it is truly the key to improving personal opportunity and creating a strong economy, and it's the basis of the success of any community, any state, or any country in this modern 21st century world.
Yeah, education.
Education, truly. And so, so much of our political conversation today has a negative bent to it. There's a lot of scapegoating. There's a lot of name calling and blaming others for problems, and that tone of discussion is not what made America great, and that's not what's going to make America great into the 21st century. We need to have the strongest economy in the world, and to do that we need to have the most highly skilled, highly educated workforce. We have learned that there are opportunities all around us to improve educational outcomes without substantially increasing our resource commitment. So we can take 1 + 1 and create outcomes that are much greater than 2. Mm-hmm. One example is a program that I've become very excited about that's located right here on the University of Missouri campus called the Missouri College Advisory Corps.
The Missouri College Advisory Corps.
Yeah. And
what is that?
And what we have learned is that a surprisingly large number of our highest performing high school students are not going on to college.
And why is that?
These are kids with top 10% GPAs, top 10 percentile ACT scores, but many of them are not going on to college because the right support network is not there to encourage them to go to college, to help them find their best fit college, to navigate the financial aid process. This is particularly true among students who would be the first in their families to go to college. And so we've learned that there are hundreds of thousands of these high-performing high school students across the country and right here in the state of Missouri who have nevertheless not been going on to college. So what the Missouri College Advising Corps has started to do is they have corps members who are recent graduates from the university who go through 50 hours plus of training, and each corps member goes and works full-time in a partner high school in Missouri, and now the program's working with 41 different high schools, and that person becomes the college advisor for that high school, working with kids from the time they're freshmen in high school, helping them understand that they can go on to college, helping them find their best fit college, which is complicated in a country with over 400 colleges and universities today, and helping them navigate the financial aid process, which is a complicated process as well.
And you said they're in how many high schools?
41 high schools.
41 high schools. You're not talking about just 41 high schools in central Missouri area. Are you talking about the entire state?
All across the state, rural and urban. In their first 6 years of operation, they started in 2008. In their first 6 years, the average college-going rate amongst high school seniors at their participating high schools went from 45% of graduates to 55%
well,
of graduates.
That's a good jump.
And over that time, the state as a whole didn't increase. So this program's having a big impact, and some of the stories are really incredible. Through this program, I became aware of a young woman named Ebony Boykin, for example, who went to high school in the Normandy School District in St. Louis, which was an unaccredited district, and her life had been, through her teenage years, about as hard as they come. She had been in and out of homeless shelters as a child, She and her mother had lived in a car during certain periods of time. But through her own hard work, she had amassed a 3.8 grade point average, and she had tied the highest ACT score at her high school when she was a junior. And with a little bit of help from her Missouri College Advisory Corps, she went from not thinking that she could go to college to enrolling in Columbia University in the Ivy League in New York City on a full ride scholarship where she's in her junior year. So that is really powerful.
Well, that's a success story.
It's incredible.
And if it had not been for this organization, she would not have gone to college.
It's a big part of the equation, and this organization has grown from working with just a few high schools 6 or 7 years ago to 41 today. Started out with private funding. They're getting a little bit of help now from the AmeriCorps program, but they need more help and they need more support because they are taking just a little bit of help and encouragement and unlocking a great deal of human potential and helping a lot of young people.
How can people listening to us or watching us, how can they get involved with this?
Well, the first thing I would encourage everybody to do is do a simple web search and learn a little bit more about this program. There are a number of different ways that folks can help. Folks can make a contribution to the program. Folks can send an email to their local legislator suggesting that the state take a hard look at providing extra resources for the program.
Okay, the program is called again?
The Missouri College Advising Corps.
The Missouri College Advising Corps.
That's correct.
So if you Google that, you'll get all the information.
You get all the information. You'll learn what high schools they're working with, and you will come across a number of incredible examples of kids who they've helped.
What do you think the chances are of increasing the number of high schools over the years?
I think it's quite good. The Corps has terrific leadership. They've continued to grow. They've continued to demonstrate success, and I think it's one of the best programs out there.
Do you know off the top of your head how many high schools are covered here in central Missouri?
That's a good question. I don't.
Okay.
I don't believe they're in any of our Columbia public schools.
But there are 41 around the state.
But they are all across the state, rural and urban areas together.
I think that's absolutely fantastic, John. And the thing to do, if our audience is interested in it, Google, and then you get the information and write to your legislature and tell them how you feel.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's a great example of a program that, so much of the discussion in politics comes down to zero-sum thinking, that to make something better, we have to take something away from somebody else. But there are so many great ideas like this. There's just smarter ways of doing things. And so when I was in the legislature, I like to look for programs just like this because we can do an awful lot of good and produce a lot better outcomes for our young people and our families without necessarily having to commit a lot of resources to it. We just have to use our heads.
Right, and you have to care.
You have to care.
You have to care. That's a big difference there. John Wright, thank you so much for coming by. We're out of time for today. Hope you have a good weekend, and you will come back again, right?
I will.
All right. Monday, we've got Vera Massey on. We'll see you Monday. Our program directed by Travis McMillan. Reynolds Journalism Institute audio is Trevor Harris from KBIA. Our floor director, Ariel Sierra, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mouser.